90 miles per hour. That's rough. I mean, look, that's, basically this is sort of like a hurricane barrel, but maybe even a little bit larger, and it's going to have more of a storm surge impact as opposed to just that inland wind impact like we had around here. Should be crossing the coastline late this afternoon over there in Louisiana, and there will be a significant area here, especially where the center is and areas off toward the east, where there's going to be between a 5 and 10 foot storm surge. And this is a very low-lying area, and so it's very prone to storm surge flooding. Even inland locations can see the storm surge coming up the Mississippi River, and then Lake Pontchartrain there is also a very vulnerable area for storm surge also. The pressure continues to drop a little bit, so that shows that it is strengthening. As far as the winds that we're seeing right now, at least on land, nothing crazy. So it is breezy here, certainly. A north wind about 13 to 16 miles per hour. Over in Louisiana, the winds are starting to pick up a little bit, but really the strongest of the winds are off the coastline right now. I did pull up, these numbers come from the oil platforms offshore, and it's a little tricky because these, typically the winds that we measure are like 10 feet above the ground, like if you were looking at an airport observation. These are more like about 100 feet above the ground, maybe even more, but it still gives us an idea of what we're seeing as far as wind gusts. 93 mile per hour wind gusts there on the northern part of the eye wall, and you'll see those winds really picking up. So this is what is pushing that storm surge against the Louisiana coastline, and also sending some big waves in our direction too. There is a coastal flood warning that continues for our area until 4 p.m. today. Storm surge warnings are in effect across much of the Louisiana coastline. We do have crews there that are going to very safely make their way down, hopefully, to the Morgan City area, which is located here just down the road from Patterson. Hopefully they will find a safe place to ride this out, but we're going to have some really close coverage for you. This is the visible satellite imagery. It's beautiful to behold. I mean, these are beautiful systems to look at, especially when we get this really high resolution kind of view of things, but it does give you an idea of sort of the bubbling up, the growing of the clouds that's taking place. And you can see, if you look really closely, the circulation there in the middle part of your screen right here. An eye, though, is not visible. Now, there is a circulation in there, most certainly, because we can see it on radar imagery, but we just can't see down into the eye right now because there's a lot of cloud cover blocking it on top. So as far as what's happening around here locally, Allison's going to go into a lot more detail about that here in just a minute, but I just want to let you know that there's really nothing extreme happening. We have had some coastal flooding. We will have some scattered showers and a few thunderstorms today as well. And actually, for a lot of locations, it's really not going to be that bad of a day at all because temperatures are in the 70s now. We're probably only going to make it into the middle 80s today with a brisk north wind and some cloudy skies. So overall, we really missed out on a lot of the worst of it. This is primarily a coastal impact that we're going to be experiencing. Anybody down there on the water and even around Galveston Bay. So are we going to Allison? Okay, so Allison Gargaro over there in the Fox 26 Weather Center with a look at more of the local impacts. Allison. And just like you said, Mike, we're really not going to be getting the brunt of it. Most of it is going to be in coastal Louisiana to Mississippi, even portions of Alabama. But we don't want you to let your guard down. Just saying, today is not the day to head out to the coast. Our very own Denise Middleton has been doing such a good job at showing the current conditions, and boy, the waves have been just roaring in. Not something you want to be near. We actually did talk with an official down on Galveston Island yesterday, and he was saying, guys, this weekend's going to be great. So don't go to the beach today. Do wait until a little bit later. But the main impacts along the coast, flooding possible. I mean, there's a very, very small threat for storm surge, but really it's going to be the inundation of the water moving into the coast. Also going to be looking at a high rip current risk. Winds sustained out of the north, about 20 miles per hour, but it's the gusts, which we've already seen upwards of about 25, 26 miles per hour, that could be as strong as 35 miles an hour, and then isolated thunderstorms moving inland. So let's get out to the big threats: coastal flood warning and a wind advisory along the coast. That's going to be from Chambers County all the way down to Matagorda Bay. Now, the rain, you can see offshore,
Not much at all, but let's take you inland to Cleveland, down toward Atascocita, Conroe, the Woodlands, moving into Tomball, Cypress, potentially trying to knock on the door of the Heights. But if anything, it's just very, very light rain. Nothing too impactful at this time, but we're definitely going to be seeing a possibility of more of that rain. Now, I want to let you know that I do have a satellite and radar loop here. Here is going to be the outer eye wall, which is now about probably 95 miles away from the nearest portion of the Louisiana coast. So taking a wide look at those outer rain bands likely continuing to move on shore into Louisiana. We're going to be seeing some isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder possibility, but I would say the chance for thunderstorms, anything severe is going to be really low at this time. But take a look at how all the moisture gets taken out to the east. When we do see Francine make landfall and move inland, it's going to be taking all the impacts from us here in southeast Texas. We are getting the very, very far western edge of any of the heavy rain. And speaking of, our rainfall totals today and tomorrow, slim to none. It's the further east you go, the higher the rain chances are, from New Iberia to Baton Rouge, and then even moving into Mississippi. New Orleans, you're probably on the maybe 5 to 7 inch potential for that heavy rain, but Baton Rouge could be seeing potentially up to a foot of that. So still pretty big impacts. I do want to talk about the wave heights because that's going to be pretty impactful off our coast. Now I want to let you know this 7-foot range that we're seeing is not along our immediate coast. That's closer to about maybe 3 to 5 feet, but you can see that these 20 to 21 foot waves are going to be rushing on shore as the center of Francine makes its way inland. So wave height's going to be a big deal. And then once again, just quickly want to leave you with our temps. Mid to upper 70s and maybe low 80s is our high today. We're still likely going to be seeing a lot of clouds. It's not until tomorrow and through the weekend that things dry out, at least in the skies. It is going to be a bit more humid, and those afternoon highs back to the low 90s. So you guys, pretty minimal impacts for us, at least overall, but we're still going to watch this for you, bring you that local coverage. We know so many folks have family and friends that do live in Louisiana, and we want to make sure that we are bringing you guys the latest.
All right. Great, thanks, Allison.
Well, let's go to Denise Middleton. She's live in Galveston.
Yeah, the waves are really kicking up this morning, like hours ahead of it.
Yeah, and we're getting a little minor taste of the storm surge, but it definitely was noticeable and came up on Jamaica Beach, and it's covering the road a little bit, huh? Hey, Denise.
Hey, yeah, we are still here, and you can see the storm surge flooding affecting areas here in Jamaica Beach. As you can see, all these homes are on stilts, so they aren't necessarily impacted. There's no water in their homes or in their vehicles, and this road here is still passable. This is along Jolly Roger here where we are right now, and I mean, if we just turn in the opposite direction, you can see the street is dry, and then there may be a little bit more flooding farther down. So it's just some of the streets have a little bit of flooding, but for the most part, most of these streets in this neighborhood are pretty dry. So this water should probably recede later on today. But the Galveston County Office of Emergency Management is monitoring the situation. They say there's still, a threat to the county, including increased surge, dangerous rip currents, and elevated wind. TxDOT is actually removing debris from Highway 87 as it washes onto the surface. As we know, there's a voluntary evacuation order for Bolivar Peninsula through 8 o'clock tonight due to expected tides and surge that's expected to impact Highway 87. And some of the other low-lying areas and beachfront communities like Galveston Bay, Clear Lake, and Bolivar Peninsula are facing potential road closures and beach erosion due to rising water levels and strong winds. So we'll be sure to keep you posted on that. But again, this area here in Jamaica Beach has been impacted a little. We haven't seen too many people out and about, but we'll keep a close watch, let you know if the water recedes, while we're out here. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, Denise, that's what I was wondering about. You mentioned you didn't see that many people out and about. A lot of those homes are like holiday rentals and Airbnb kind of places, but I know interspersed in there are people who spend their, who live down there too, but you haven't really seen a lot of people around, huh? So they either left probably knowing that it was going to flood, or it just wasn't rented out this week.
Yeah, perhaps. We saw some people here. Actually, you can probably see them right now. They're outside. They were walking around earlier, and they went back in the house. But we've only seen this couple, and then there was one other guy. But that's about it. Yeah, we haven't. And we've seen police. I don't know if you saw them when we were coming out just a moment ago. Police has been driving through the area as well. I guess just, keeping a close watch on things. But yeah, for the most part, pretty quiet out here. But again, doesn't look like too much has been impacted since the homes are on stilts and it's only about, maybe 2 feet of water. So looks like they should be good for now, guys.
All right. Denise, stay safe down there. You should also check out Denise's new post on her social media. Let me just, I just want to give a shout out to that also.
Okay. What, is it behind the scenes?
Was it her walking in the studio?
Yeah.
No, it's, well, yeah, I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, okay. No, I have to go. He wants me to log on and see.
You
Okay.
need
Well,
to.
it was inspired by Mike, though.
Inspired by,
I will
but-
say that because he has my theme music for me.
She has
Oh,
a,
okay.
she has a
Time to
walk-up
time that gets
song.
me
Yes.
going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
We're trying to get it viral. We need it to go viral.
Well, you'll have one more view
Oh,
in just a
gosh.
second when we go to break. But it's not a surprise to see the roadways like that because it is a barrier island. So
Yeah.
whenever you get the waves, we see it time after time. They're used
And
to
I think
it.
the county judge, when we interviewed him yesterday, was saying mostly like if you maybe you have like a medical problem or it's going to be like a big hardship if you can't drive get out of the neighborhood or whatever, then it was a good idea to leave.
Voluntary evacuation.
All right. Go. You know what? We're taking a break. So log on to Denise's social media and find
Yes,
out
do
what
it
all
right
the
now.
what all the hullabaloo is about.
Big time hullabaloo.
I'll do the same. I think I saw it though.
Fox 26 is your Gulf Coast Weather Authority. And while our area is vast,
This storm could bring widespread flooding and dangerous winds to our entire
our forecasting zeroes in
These storm cells over the ship channel are particularly dangerous.
from your community
Memorial Park is getting hammered right now with heavy
right down to your neighborhood streets.
We're starting to see the water rise along Buffalo Bayou.
It's hyper-local coverage from your Gulf Coast Weather Authority, only on Fox 26. Fox 26 News at 9. Our breaking bond reports hold judges accountable.
A 20-year-old charged with
The
manslaughter.
News Edge at 10. Your clues help find the missing.
Her son never made it to his
Investigations that get results. Weeknights on Fox 26. Engaging and shareable. Visit the Fox 26 Houston Facebook page. Need a legal question answered? Fox 26 legal expert Chris Tritico can help.
But this may be a pretty sizable claim that your sister has.
Just send your legal questions to fox26law@fox.com. Then tune into Houston's morning show every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m. to hear your questions answered. The news doesn't stop on weekends,
We're learning more details about a story we first brought you yesterday morning.
and neither do we.
But as we head throughout the afternoon, that's when the rain starts moving in from the southwest.
Fox 26 Morning News Weekends with Denise Middleton
Well, now to a story you'll see only on Fox. The family of a beloved bartender in North
and meteorologist Allison Gargaro.
Right now, we are seeing some of the heaviest rain start to push off to our
Fox 26 Morning News Weekends, Saturdays and Sundays beginning at 5 a.m.
The Fox 26 Weather app with more features in one easy-to-use screen. Current weather at a glance, high-resolution interactive radar, severe weather alerts, video forecasts, and much more. It's the power of your Gulf Coast Weather Authority in the palm of your hand. The Fox 26 Weather app. Download it today.
The Fox 26 YouTube page, your home for the best Fox 26 has to offer. The latest news.
Good evening, I'm Caroline Collins. Topping the rundown.
Our most popular local programs like the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
Why the hell are so many people burned out?
And stories you may have missed from series like Breaking Bond.
The quicker we get a grasp on what's happening.
Sullivan Smart Sense and The Missing.
Please pick up the phone and call the police. Remember, you can remain
The
anonymous.
Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
We're back.
Well, let's take you to New York City. You're looking live here on the left side of your screen where tributes have begun for the thousands of victims who lost their lives 23 years ago in New York City on 9/11 during the terror attacks there. Also in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. as well This is obviously an annual tribute where a lot of the family members of the victims come in. They share words and read the names of all of the family members. A lot of them maybe didn't even meet the family members, some of them, because they weren't even alive at the time.
Yeah. So on the right, taking a look at Freedom Tower and then reading the names of the 2,977 people who were killed that day. And it's just remarkable to think that there is an entire generation that wasn't alive, because, you know, we all remember where we were, what we were doing, what the moment was like, and the days afterward as well. So this is an annual tradition that they do now at the site. And it's really, I mean, it's commemorative, but it's also just really heartbreaking because you feel the loss.
Yeah.
You know, there.
And there were so many people, though, since then who died from what they were exposed to. You know, all the first responders and police and firefighters and everything who breathed in just toxic, you know, the dust and everything, you know, who ended up subsequently dying of
from spending
cancer and
months
disease.
on the pile.
So, I mean, that's another, I don't know if those names get read or not, but but maybe they should.
Well, there was a lot of, you know, back and forth too with lawmakers trying to get, you know, healthcare coverage for people who are affected later, like you say, you know, cancer, a big problem because of breathing in all the toxic fumes, and I'm sure asbestos came into play, but really it's just about right now remembering the lives lost in such a hole, you know, for people across the country, but in New York as well, especially since that was, you know, ground zero.
You know, one of the strange things, because we took a trip up there the year after, so we were there about 1 year after. And, you know, so just the hole was still there, and sort of the tributes and pictures and memorials and stuff like that were still up. It was an odd feeling for a while before they built the Freedom Tower or World Trade One, whatever they call it now, I forgot. But because it became a little bit of a tourist site. It was like a solemn tourist site, but it was still a tourist site. You know what I mean? So there was a weird time there, especially a few years after that, where it was sort of like taking pictures, and, you know, it's like, are you? You probably shouldn't be smiling. You know, that kind of, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. It's so. But now I think it's like you said. You know, it's kind of reached a point where a lot of people either weren't alive at the time or don't. You know, the memory fades a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, you know, I don't know how old everybody is, but my parents would always tell me about the assassination of JFK, how they would remember riding the bus on the way home and what they were wearing and how a teacher told them, you know, and I was like, oh, I don't know what that's like until 9/11. Then it's definitely something that we all remember, and now there'll be the next generation who will just hear about it from us.
Let's turn right to the weather. We have a reporter in New Orleans now who can bring us the latest on conditions there. How is it looking there, Oliviana?
Jalon, Lena, this, what we know is a Category 1, we believe could still escalate to a Category 2 as it makes landfall in the New Orleans, Louisiana area, and folks are still preparing for what could be a very dangerous situation here. Right now it's raining and there's a slight breeze, but which has started in the last couple of hours, so just starting to begin to intensify, but folks are saying don't let your guard down because we are still preparing for power outages, storm surge, flooding, and potential property damage as well. So people were really stocking up last night though at grocery stores. They were doing that in the pouring rain actually. I went into one and it was completely empty. The water section was completely empty, full carts going in and out of those areas. Multiple parishes in the state have issued mandatory evacuation orders too. Some plan on sheltering in place though and are even getting creative with prep.
So I'm super nervous about it because this is my first time basically hunkering down and doing this with a 2-year-old child. I'm making a decision to stay, but they put a letter under my door basically telling me like that's not a good decision. I just like bought food, like I have these like portable fans and stuff like that. I actually created this concoction with like tea lights and like a cupcake tin so that we can be able to like warm up our food.
She says after experiencing Katrina, she isn't taking any chances. The city also helped out by giving away sandbags. A long line of people grabbed those, and they're doing what they can for what could be a few days without power. The governor, Jeff Landry, also issuing a state of emergency earlier this week in preparation to activate emergency response. As that makes landfall, we do still think that Louisiana will bear the brunt of this storm. There's a hurricane watch going on for Francine right now, as well as the schools around here are closed today and tomorrow at least, as we watch and wait for what could be up to 12 inches of water and up to 10 feet of storm surge along the coast as well. In New Orleans, Louisiana, Oliviana Kelmes, I'll send it back to you.
Olivia, I do wonder, the state of emergency and the concern, does it go as far north as, the entire state? Because we are expecting it to, kind of barrel through once it makes landfall up the Mississippi River Valley.
From what I understand, it will extend farther around the state, not just in this area. We are expecting the mayor of this area to be speaking as well, and more plans for just this spot. But yeah, we're not expecting this to only affect right here. We're watching and waiting to see what all areas it'll affect and what emergency action will need to take place.
All right. Well, thanks so much for that report and all the latest there.
Yeah,
stay safe, definitely.
So you have to feel it too for Louisiana, because they keep getting hit time after time. Especially, there'll be several instances over the last couple of years where we thought we were going to take the direct hit. It made a move to the east, and then you had Lake Charles affected and New Orleans affected. So Louisiana's like in the worst spot.
Just 4 seasons ago in 2020, they got hit 4 times in 1 year.
That's right.
Yeah, 4 times in 1 year. And a lot of the spots, like I think Lake Charles took 2 direct hits that year. And, it's after a while, it's got to be just tiring. We've lucked out a lot. I mean, obviously Beryl was an awful thing to go through for a lot of people, losing power. But, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to the history of hurricanes, it wasn't necessarily, that prolific of a storm. So, we've been lucky in a lot of ways around here, and Louisiana's just really been hit so many times.
Didn't NOAA, though, come out with the predictor for the season? They were like, oh, it's going to be outrageously busy. It's going to be crazed.
People are trying to figure that out right now, because we're on storm number 6, Francine, and we just had Tropical Depression 7. It's way out in the Atlantic. That just formed. So that one will become Gordon soon. But that's 7. Remember the predictions were from like 20 to 23, 20 to 25 kind of thing. So it may be, though, that if enough energy and heat isn't sapped from the ocean, it's not going to go away necessarily. So it'll either be kind of saved up for next year, or it may be that there's a late season flurry of activity, which is not common for us. But it may be that maybe it's a very busy October. We've had years where we still had storms into December, so hopefully that's not the case, but that definitely is the potential, unless we get, a lot of activity later on in the month of September. But right now, I was just kind of breezing through the latest runs of the GFS and Euromodel, and there's like nothing big that's just going to be coming over the next week or two.
Well, that's good news.
So,
I mean, I don't mind them being wrong at this point,
Yeah, like being wrong that way. All right, well, we're getting near the end of the road here for the after show. We're going to be back at 11. I don't know if y'all are going to get pulled into that or not. Allison and I will be there. In the meantime, we have Fox Weather that you could watch here over the next 30 minutes on Fox Local. We got a lot of foxes.
A lot of foxy stuff going on.
Know what I mean?
See y'all.
Fox 26 is your Gulf Coast Weather Authority. And while our area is vast,
this storm could bring widespread flooding and dangerous winds to our entire...
Our forecasting zeroes in.
These storm cells over the ship channel are particularly dangerous.
From your community.
Memorial Park is getting hammered right now with heavy downpours.
Right down to your neighborhood streets.
We're starting to see the water rise along Buffalo Bayou.
It's hyper-local coverage from your Gulf Coast Weather Authority. Only on Fox 26. Fox 26 News at 9. Our breaking bond reports hold judges accountable.
A 20-year-old charged with manslaughter.
The News Edge at 10. Your clues help find the missing.
Her son never made it to his
Investigations that get results. Weeknights on Fox 26. Engaging and shareable. Visit the Fox 26 Houston Facebook page. Need a legal question answered? Fox 26 legal expert Chris Tritico can help.
But this may be a pretty sizable claim that your sister has.
Just send your legal questions to fox26law@fox.com. Then tune into Houston's morning show every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m. to hear your questions answered. The news doesn't stop on weekends.
We're learning more details about a story we first brought you yesterday morning.
And neither do we.
As we head throughout the afternoon, that's when the rain starts moving in from the southwest.
Fox 26 Morning News Weekends with Denise Middleton.
Well, now to a story you'll see only on Fox. The family of a beloved bartender in North.
And meteorologist Allison Gargaro.
Right now, we are seeing some of the heaviest rain start to push off to our
Fox 26 Morning News Weekends, Saturdays and Sundays beginning at 5 a.m.
The Fox 26 weather app with more features in one easy-to-use screen. Current weather at a glance, high-resolution interactive radar, severe weather alerts, video forecasts, and much more. It's the power of your Gulf Coast Weather Authority in the palm of your hand. The Fox 26 weather app. Download it today.
The Fox 26 YouTube page, your home for the best Fox 26 has to offer. The latest news.
Good evening, I'm Caroline Collins. Topping the rundown.
Our most popular local programs like the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
Why the hell are so many people burnt out?
And stories you may have missed from series like Breaking Bond.
The quicker we get a grasp on what's happening.
Sullivan Smart Sense and The Missing.
Please pick up the phone and call the police. Remember, you can remain anonymous.
The Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.